Okay. A few common issues now that people have and how you can solve them. Now, this button here is your view. It basically changes the style of this ribbon. I think there's 4 different modes. If you press that once, it goes to this. Press it again, it goes like this. Press it again, it goes that way. You press it again, it comes back. So some students sometimes press that without knowing it and lose that ribbon. So it's really important that you just make sure you know about this button and you go through the motions and you get it back. Okay? So that's one thing to think about. And the other thing to think about is when you're in a sketch, as we've said, there's kind of, a couple of approaches you can set to giving dimensions. But when you set a dimension, it's like dictating a rule. So you're telling it has to stay that size. Not sure what's going on there. Do more. Strange. There it is. Okay. You want it back. Now, if you want to draw something within there now, you can also use the dimension tool to tell it how far you want one line to be from another. So I could say I want this line and that line to be 30 millimeters in distance. I could say I want this line and this line to be 50 away. Okay? Now then, what happens is, these dimensions are like rules. We call it constraint. You're telling it has to stay there. So if, for example, I try to tell it I now want to change this distance, in fact, I'm going to put a size in here first. So I might say that I want it to stay at 60. If I say I want this now to change, I'll get a message. And that's an error message. And that's saying, well, you can't change this now because you've dictated that this has to stay 30 and this has to stay 60. So I can't actually change that size there. Do you understand? Okay, now the only way I can change that size, because we've got these in place, is if I was to delete these dimensions. I press the escape key, I select the dimension, I delete it. Now I've freed up that constraint to say I actually can change this one. Okay, the same rule applies. If I wanted to put a dimension at this bottom one here, it would say, oh, actually adding this dimension will over-constrain the sketch because I've already told it up here I want it to be that size. If I want to change anything, I have to press the escape key, I have to delete the dimension. It will stay that size, but it will free up the constraint. It'll allow me to make changes. Okay. Now the next thing I'm going to show you, I'm just going to delete all these now. And I'm going to finish that sketch, and we're going to do a 3D manipulation now. So I'm going to finish that sketch. I'm going to zoom back into it to see it here. And now I'm going to extrude. So my ribbon has changed to a 3D mode now. And now I can extrude it. So I'm going to click this. I'm going to click here, and it's going to add volume. So it's going to add mass to it. Now I can tell it how thick I want that. So I could say, okay, I want it 100 millimeters. And I can press return. And now I've got a 3D form. I've gone from a 2D to a 3D form. Is everyone happy with that?